Struggling with Google Cloud's Module 3? Yeah, you're not alone. It can be a beast. But don't worry. In the next few minutes, we're going to totally demystify data storage and BigQuery so you can walk into that exam feeling like a pro. Let's do this.
All right, think of this as your personal high-speed cram session. We're going to cut through all the jargon, all the fluff, and just give you exactly what you need to know to pass that exam. Ready? Let's dive in. Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we'll get our exam prep focus straight. Then we're diving into cloud storage. I want you to think of it as a go-down or a massive warehouse. After that, we'll tackle BigQuery, which is like the genius engine running the whole show. We'll figure out how to choose the right data structure, and then, this is the best part, we'll finish up with some killer exam hacks to make sure all of this sticks.
Okay, part 1. Let's get our heads in the game. We are zeroing in on exam sections 3.1 all the way through 3.3. This is the absolute heart of data storage on Google Cloud. Seriously, every single thing we talk about from here on out could pop up as an exam question, so you're going to want to pay close attention.
All right, let's kick things off with Google Cloud Storage, or GCS for short. Now, forget all the super technical jargon for just a second. I want you to just imagine it's your own personal, completely unlimited warehouse. You know, a go-down.
This analogy, honestly, makes it so simple to understand. So inside this massive, unlimited warehouse, you've got buckets. Just think of these as the racks or shelves you use to organize everything. And the files you actually put on those shelves, your images, your logs, your videos, those are your objects. That's it, the actual goods you store.
But think about it. In any real warehouse, some things you need to grab every single day, right? But other stuff like, holiday decorations, you might only need once a year. Well, Google totally gets this, and they actually charge you based on how often you need to access your stuff. And that right there is the whole idea behind storage classes.
So here are your choices. You've got Standard, which is for your hot data, the stuff you're using all the time. Then you step down to Nearline for things you access maybe once a month. Then Coldline for quarterly access. And finally, Archive for stuff you'll probably never touch again, but you have to keep it. Now here's the deal. As you go down this list, storing your data gets crazy cheap, but pulling it out costs more. It's all just a balancing act.
Okay, exam pointers. These are the absolute must-knows. First, bucket names have to be globally unique. Across the entire world, no two buckets can have the same name. Second, your data has this insane 11 nines of durability. That's ridiculously safe. Third, objects are immutable. You can't edit a file. You can only replace it with the new version. And finally, the secret weapon for saving money, lifecycle management. Think of it like a little robot you can program to automatically move your data to cheaper storage as it gets older. Set it and forget it.
All right, so if GCS is the warehouse, then BigQuery is the super intelligent, genius robot that can find and analyze anything in that warehouse in seconds. This is not your average database. It's a massively powerful analytics engine.
So what's its first secret to being so fast? It's something called columnar storage. I want you to picture a giant spreadsheet with like a billion rows. A traditional database would have to read every single row just to find the data in one column. What a waste! BigQuery is so much smarter. It only reads the specific columns you ask for. This saves a massive amount of time, and this is what the exam loves. It saves you a ton of money.
And the next piece of magic is the Dremel engine. The analogy here is perfect. Imagine you had to read a 1,000-page book all by yourself. It would take forever, right? But what if you could rip out all the pages, give one page to each of your 1,000 friends, and have them all read their page at the exact same time? You'd be done in minutes. That is exactly what Dremel does with your query.
So here's a quick look at how that massive parallel processing actually works. You've got a root server that gets your query, and it basically acts like a project manager. It shatters the job into thousands of tiny pieces and shoots them out to these worker leaf nodes. They all scan their little piece of data at the same time, in parallel. Then the results are all gathered back up the chain and sent back to you. The crazy part, this often happens in just a few seconds.
But the single most important thing you need to remember for the exam is this: the separation of compute and storage. The brain, that's Dremel, is completely separate from the warehouse, which is a system called Colossus. This is an absolute game changer, and here's why. It means you can scale them independently. You only pay for the processing power you need exactly when you need it. That's a huge deal.
Okay, so we've got these incredible tools, right? Cloud storage, BigQuery, but when do you use which one? And that brings us to that classic data architecture question that you will almost certainly see on the exam: data lake or data warehouse?
Okay, just think of it this way. A data lake is like a raw, natural pond. You can dump anything in there. Messy logs, PDFs, raw data from sensors, you name it. It's super cheap and flexible, which is perfect for data scientists who need to just explore and train models on raw stuff. A data warehouse, on the other hand, is like a highly filtered water tank. Only clean, structured, and reliable data is allowed in. This is what business analysts need to build those trustworthy dashboards. So for the exam, remember this. GCS is your lake, BigQuery is your warehouse.
And just so you're up to date, you should also know about the newest trend, the data lakehouse. It's pretty much what it sounds like, a hybrid approach that tries to give you the best of both worlds. You get the low-cost, flexible storage of a lake, but with the powerful, structured querying of a warehouse.
All right, we've covered all the core concepts. Now for what might be the most important part of this whole thing. Let's lock this knowledge in with some super simple mnemonics that you can take with you straight into the exam room.
Okay, for Google Cloud Storage classes, the only 4 letters you need to remember are S, N, C, A.
And here's what they mean. S is for standard, that's your frequent access stuff. N is for nearline, and the key thing to remember is its 30-day minimum storage. C is for cold line with a 90-day minimum. And A is for archive with a full 365-day minimum. Just remember SNCA. It's really that simple.
Okay, now for BigQuery's core architecture. I want you to think of a common exam you might have to take, the CDS exam.
CDS stands for BigQuery's 3 pillars. C is for its super efficient columnar storage. D is for the massively parallel Dremel engine. And S, the big one, is for the fundamental separation of compute and storage. If you can remember CDS, you'll remember exactly how BigQuery works its magic.
So how are you feeling? A little more confident? We've basically just turned a really complex module into a simple story of a warehouse and a genius robot. We've cleared up the whole data lake versus warehouse thing, and we've armed you with 2 simple mnemonics to nail all the details. You are absolutely ready for this. You've got this.